Welcome to WEBN General News. I'm Kelly Egan.
And I'm Emily Champagne.
President Trump today said that he is, quote, not at all concerned about committing possible war crimes on Iran.
I mean, complete demolition by 12 o'clock, and it'll happen over a period of 4 hours if we wanted to. We don't want that to happen. We may even get involved with helping them rebuild their nation. And you know what? If that's the case, the last thing we want to do is start with power plants, which are among the most expensive things, and bridges.
Trump spoke to reporters at the White House today to address what the U.S. will do if Iran does not meet Trump's Thursday deadline to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Trump refused to say whether or not civilians would be targets in these possible attacks.
NASA's Artemis II is making history, breaking the all-time record for the farthest humans have traveled from Earth.
Is pretty paramount to set up for subsequent missions like Artemis III in 2027 and, of course, the lunar landing itself on Artemis IV in 2028.
April 1st, 2026, 4 astronauts launched from Kennedy Space Center for the first crewed mission to the moon in over 50 years. The crew is currently going through a 7-hour lunar flyby where the crew will investigate and document the landscape of the moon's surface. The crew, however, will not land. Instead, the flight will pave the way for Artemis III, which will put boots back on the lunar surface. The 10-day mission wraps with a splashdown off the coast of San Diego.
The MBTA announced that commuter rail tickets from South Station to Gillette Stadium for the World Cup will be spiked up to $80 round trip. This is 4 times the amount of round trip tickets to Gillette Stadium for a Patriots game. The MBTA also said that they plan to highly increase the amount of train service on the days of the matches, prepared to run up to 20,000 people to and from each game. The first World Cup game is June 13th.
Boston police are investigating a violent incident near Northeastern University after an officer was stabbed by a man armed with a sword. Police say they were responding to a 911 call on Hemingway Street about a possible threat when they encountered a man experiencing a mental health crisis. After speaking with first responders, the man opened his door and attacked, stabbing an officer in the arm and knocking an EMS worker to the ground. In response, officers used a taser and fired their weapons. The incident remains under investigation.
With more on politics, here's Pranati Konamraju. Pranati?
President Donald Trump signed an executive order aimed at stabilizing college sports by tightening rules on athlete pay, transfers, and eligibility. This order suggests that schools that don't comply with new guidelines could lose federal funding. It also pushes for stricter guidelines including name, image, and more. Critics warn the move could face legal challenges and may conflict with recent court decisions expanding athlete rights. A new budget proposal calls for a record $1.5 trillion in defense spending. President Donald Trump says the increase is needed to address global conflicts and strengthen national defense. The plan would mark the largest defense budget in U.S. history. It now heads to the Congress, where lawmakers are expected to debate and possibly revise it. The Supreme Court has cleared the way for Steve Bannon's contempt of Congress conviction to be dismissed. Justices tossed a lower court ruling and sent the case back to a trial judge to reconsider dropping it. The move follows a shift by the Trump administration, which now says dismissing the case serves the interests of justice. Many people fear this decision is symbolic as it signals a broader effort to unwind prosecutions tied to the January 6th Capitol attack. That's all I have for politics. Back to you guys at the desk.
The Trump administration has stopped enforcing certain federal protections for transgender students in several U.S. schools. The Department of Education ended agreement that required schools to follow policies supporting transgender students under Title IX, a law that prohibits sex-based discrimination. Officials say the previous policies improperly expanded Title IX to include gender identity, and the administration now defines protections based on biological sex. The change affects multiple schools, districts, and colleges, meaning the federal government will no longer monitor or enforce those protections. LGBTQ advocates have criticized the move, calling it a rollback of civil rights.
March Madness will finish off tonight with the NCAA Men's Championship, UConn versus University of Michigan. Michigan is 36-3, while UConn is 34-5. Michigan continues their run of dominance, beating Arizona 91-73, while UConn beat Illinois 71-62 this past weekend. The game starts at 8:50 p.m. tonight and is available to watch on TBS, TNT, or True TV.
The Boston Red Sox are off to a sluggish start, going 2-7 on the season so far. Inconsistent pitching and a lack of timely hitting have put the team behind in the competitive AL East, raising concerns amongst fans. While there have been flashes of promise, especially from young players like Roman Anthony, the Sox have struggled to close out games and build momentum. It's still early on, but if the Sox want to stay in playoff contention, they'll need to find consistency.
The first weekend of Coachella Music Festival starts this Friday. The headliners for this weekend include Sabrina Carpenter on Friday, Justin Bieber on Saturday, and Karol G on Sunday. Other notable performers include The Strokes, Cat's Eye, Addison Rae, Ethel Cain, Teddy Swims, and more. Almost 200,000 tickets have been sold for the festival across both weekends.
Savannah Guthrie has returned to NBC's Today Show after being off the air for more than 2 months.
It is good to be home.
Yes, it is good to have you back at home.
Well, here we go, ready or not.
Yeah.
Let's do the news.
Yes, so good to have you back. All right.
Her absence followed the disappearance of her 84-year-old mother in Arizona, a case that remains unsolved. In her emotional comeback, she thanks fans and colleagues for their support during the difficult time, becoming visually emotional during her return to the studio. Her return marks a significant moment for the show, as she continues to balance her role on air with the ongoing search for her mother.
That's all we have for news tonight.
For more, make sure to follow us on YouTube or at WEBN-TV. Have a great night.